like,
Well,
this is his last time going to New York Comic Con. He said this year, and then he didn't say it'll be the last time for San Diego. So he might go a couple
Where
more
does he
times.
live at?
California somewhere.
So
I think
yeah,
that's
probably
why.
will be.
Yeah. He can easily get there. He doesn't like even fly out to like where Marvel's filming a movie in London or else he won't go over there. They have to
That's
film
their
the
green
scenes.
screen.
Yeah, they have to film him here and then put it into the movie somewhere.
I hope they have like a stash of green screen footage of him just doing
Yeah.
various roles.
I do. I want to see him at least survive
To Infinity War.
all the way through the Infinity War films. At least that way he can see
Phase 3 and the
this
big...
Phase 3 end out. You know,
Yeah. It's a long time from now, though, isn't it, kind of?
it's a few years. Yeah,
Yeah.
2019 I think is when it ends.
Yeah, it's
so.
kind of a while for him.
Yeah, so we'll see. He says early 90s now.
100
So.
years old almost, yeah.
I mean, maybe they already recorded it. Just
It's true.
They
They might
should have.
just be ready.
they'll just record like a bunch of scenes and then like
Reacting
Well, I
to
mean-
things. Like,
we can put him in here. What was his scene in X-Men again? It was
Oh, he.
I remember, I just can't remember.
What was it?
I remember
He was
seeing
in there.
that,
he was
Yeah.
there with his wife like outside the house and
Yeah.
was it like when Magneto was pulling like metal things?
I think
up?
so. Something like that. Yeah. Forgot about that part.
I think it just reminds me so much of the... What was the one where he was watering the garden and then the
That's
hose
X-Men
was-
3. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was cool.
That's what it was in the hose, and he's like...
Yeah.
I just love like the Spider-Man where it's like, well, I guess one guy can make a difference. Enough said.
I think my favorite
He
is
was good.
still the Hulk one, actually. I really like that in the Incredible Hulk when he's like, he goes to the fridge and he drinks the stuff and he's like,
I wish they kept the original Guardians of the Galaxy cameo because the original one was he's gonna be in the collector's collection, just sitting there.
oh, that would be...
was it said Stan Lee
Oh
or?
my goodness.
It actually would have been as Stan
That's
Lee. He
amazing.
would have like flipped them off as they walked by.
That's so
That
funny.
would have been like.
Oh, that would
They,
be
but James Gunn thought it was a little too on the nose.
Just a bit too... Oh, they put Howard the Duck at the end of the movie.
That's not.
That's like not weird enough for people. Like, I mean, it's a duck, but I mean, we can't put Stan Lee in the movie. It'll break the realism. But if you have an animated duck just sitting in a booth talking to people, it's after the credits. It doesn't count.
I want Howard Duck to show up in Infinity War and like randomly like they're all fighting Thanos and this duck just shows up and like punches
Yeah, it
Thanos in the
just
face
worked.
like
I
who's
mean,
that guy?
It works in Guardians of the Galaxy,
Okay, I
but I
heard
think even
there's-
then, I don't think in the movie it would have worked. I think it had to be after the movie is over.
I heard on the Amazing Spider-Man video game. I don't know if this is true or not, but that Stan Lee is in there as like a guy with Spider-Man powers, just swinging around collecting comic books.
Yeah, you can do that.
That's
That
really
guy has
cool.
it. I think unlocked. He has the game.
He's in a couple of the games too. It's pretty great.
I know, but the fact that he plays like Stan Lee with Spider-Man powers.
I have Lego Marvel superheroes,
Mhm.
and you can get Stan Lee at one point. He has like all their powers.
Oh, yeah,
so
that's
you
my
can, like,
favorite. Is like if you play the Lego Marvel game, like you have to find like Stan Lee in distress, all over like every
so
level.
if you do that,
you find
then
like,
you unlock him. He's like Spider-Man's webbing, the Hulk strength. He has
It's so
everything.
good.
It's pretty
I
cool.
want to see Stan Lee like Hulk out and like be like a
That's so
giant
cool.
green, but like still like old and have Stan Lee's face.
Some people want him to be revealed as the Watcher because
Oh
he's
my-
in all the
he's-
movies
he's
where
everywhere,
he's
so
always
it's like the same
watching,
guy.
just sitting there. Yeah.
that would actually be really funny.
No, I was reading up like Marvel's version of God and like the one like
the one above all, yeah.
That would be Stan Lee.
That could be, yeah.
It's like I wrote myself as God in my comic books. Makes sense.
There's a scene in the Infinity Gauntlet comic I just got. I just want to catch up on some research for Thanos and stuff. And at one point they have these Celestials, and they're the guy like the big head from Guardians of the Galaxy is those guys. Like that's how big they are. So at one point they actually two of them agreed to help them out fight Thanos. So at one point they're actually literally throwing plants at him, and Thanos is just like blasting them away.
But isn't
Like,
Thanos supposed to be stronger than Celestials? Or not
With
Thanos.
that gauntlet on,
With
he
the
is.
gauntlet.
That'll be, again. I think it'll be interesting to see if they can get that right, like the scale of it.
Yeah.
And like how strong Thanos actually is. It's like, okay, how do you actually beat him? They have to have a good way to do it.
I hope they don't depower him too much.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I feel like might happen. Like I feel like it was really easy to beat Ultron and really easy to beat Apocalypse compared to like what the comic book
Yeah.
things. And like even like Vision, as awesome as he is in this, I feel like it's still not quite. We haven't seen him be quite as like all powerful as
Yeah.
in the comics. Even though like the most amazing part of that movie was still picking up Thor's hammer like nothing. Like he's just like, hey guys, you got like what's going on? And like everyone's like, no. Like, the entire theater was like, what? No, you can't. That's not. You're not worthy. It was like. I think that might have been the best reaction to a Marvel movie
Best
that
thing
we've ever had.
or worst thing, I should have bought this at MegaCon. Would have been $30. I could have bought Thor's hammer, a decent quality one.
Oh, that's not bad.
I was gonna buy it and just leave it like sitting in the elevator at our hotel.
Oh, you should.
That's really funny. Have you seen the video on Facebook of Thor pranking Spider-Man?
I think so. Oh
It's
yeah.
like Thor pranks Spider-Man, and he just
Yeah,
he
yeah.
walks into the bathroom
Yeah.
and there's a Hammer's just sitting on the toilet, and he's like, it's like no, I can't.
Would Spider-Man be worthy to
And
pick
then
it
the
up?
other one was just like it was sitting like Spider-Man's like here's a call, and he's like, and he tries to get this mask, but it's sitting under the helmet. And he's like, oh, and then he looks around and he can't find anything.
That's my
So
favorite
he gets
part.
like a fake Batman mask and puts it on and like runs.
It's my favorite part of the first Thor movie when he locks Loki down and puts the hammer on top of Loki.
Yeah, he's like, wait
"Stay."
here, and then walks away, and Loki's like, and he's like, I don't care.
But it's funny
I'm
because
not
it doesn't
gonna
crush Loki. It just makes him so he can't.
get-" It's really funny. He's just like, I can't.
That hammer is the most like, how does it work? No one
It's
understands.
so good.
Hello
Yeah.
and welcome.
Hello.
We've been recording for the past few minutes.
Is that really? That's really funny.
Outtakes.
Oh goodness.
Or in.
I say that's how we just started. We'll just have like those 5 minutes of us
Oh my
talking.
goodness. My name is Derek.
I'm Matthias.
Hi, I'm Travis.
We wanted to talk just really quickly, kind of about some comic book stuff. I mean, it's a little bit late because I know the internet has been talking about it for a while now. So
We're joining in on the conversation.
yeah, exactly, because it's a really interesting one. So if for those of you who don't know, we were talking today about the newest Captain America comic book and the direction that they've gone. It's terrifying. But basically, if you haven't known, when they did a recent relaunch of, it's just called like Captain America, like Steve Rogers, it's called.
Yeah, something
right?
like that. Yeah.
And it's kind of just a reintroduction to Steve Rogers, who hasn't really been around in the comics very much recently.
Because he was old and couldn't do
Yeah,
Falcon
exactly,
took his
yeah.
job.
Exactly. So it's interesting. So they're with kind of this relaunch of a lot of Marvel comics. They decided to relaunch Steve Rogers, which people were really excited to hear about, and I think a lot of people were less excited when they found out what was happening in this comic book. Which is, if you haven't
Spoiler
read, spoiler
alert.
alert. But I mean, I think this comic has been spoiled frequently enough. It was trending on Facebook the other day. Steve Rogers has been an agent of Hydra.
Alleged agent of Hydra.
Always, like the whole time.
Yeah.
And,
Allegedly.
and it's been widely reported from the creators of the comics that it's not some gimmick or some clone or anything like that.
No mind control, nothing. This is it.
This is Steve Rogers. This is real. So what do you guys think of this?
I
Yeah,
think
Hydra.
it's yeah. I was kind of like at first I was like, really, Marvel, really, like like you know I'm a big fan of, you know, if you're gonna do something to a character, you know, make it something new. Like, why change the classic? At the same time, I'm very interested to see how this plays out. It kind of reminds me a couple years ago when they did like the Superior Spider-Man arc where Dr. Octopus took over Peter Parker's body and he became this new version of Spider-Man, and Peter was locked away in his mind, and that lasted about a year or so. And some people loved it, some people hated it, and like, but Peter's like this evil guy now, but like he's good though, and so I'm interested to see how this plays out.
I've always been interested in when comics try to do like what if kind of scenarios. Like there was obviously an awesome. I think the most well known is when people like when Marvel was kind of starting to not become as popular, they decided to launch the Ultimate Universe and have like alternate versions of all of their characters in all weird different ways that are all like,
Yeah.
this is a different Spider-Man, this is a different Superman, this is like everything is really weird and different.
And now the movies kind of incorporate both universes into their...
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
that's
it's
interesting.
a very smart move actually.
Yeah. And then DC did a sort of a similar thing with the
New 52.
New 52 stuff, which like if you've read any of that, which I've read some of the lead up to it, and they had some crazy things with Batman and the Joker, and
Now they're doing
like,
Rebirth.
Yeah, they're doing another relaunch because that's what they have to do every few years now for comics to get people to read them.
Yeah.
But like back then when it wasn't as much of
But
it was
what
a big
does this
deal.
mean for comics if Captain America's Hydra?
Yeah, that's the thing, is it means it's very interesting to
Our
see.
life was a lie.
Yeah, it's everything you've been told. It is kind of like I'm almost wondering if this is almost not the first time, but one of the first times that the people who are making the Marvel comics are really looking at like the movies and how people react to those and saying maybe we should kind of go in a similar. People like loved it when in the second Captain America movie, like there was Hydra agents in S.H.I.E.L.D. and S.H.I.E.L.D. was a lie the entire time, and people went crazy for it. And so I think maybe the people who wrote this comic were thinking, what if we take that like even farther and we take this character and we say that was just, you know, and we make this sort of a spy thriller kind of story where he's a double agent the whole time. And I think that could work really well.
But this is Captain America. It's not like Nick Fury or someone. This is actually Captain America.
Yeah, which is the crazy thing about it, because it's kind of hard to imagine this like actual Steve Rogers, this version, who is known as the all-American hero.
And that's the question: why would he be Hydra if like he's always fought against the Red Skull and everything?
Yeah, I don't own this particular comic book. It's sold out everywhere apparently until they make some
Try
new
the
ones.
internet.
Yeah, but I had the one that leads up to it, and that one Red Skull does show up. Again, I was watching Captain America like on a video screen, But I don't know. To me, it's very. I'm interested to see how it plays out. I know, like the writer of it, pretty much said, I think fans will like where it goes when it ends. Just follow me on this journey. You'll see it. So don't assume anything necessarily.
What I am thinking is because they've already again confirmed that he has been technically a double agent since like before he even joined S.H.I.E.L.D. Anyway.
Yeah.
Like back when he was a kid, his mom had worked for Hydra apparently, and so he kind of got that from her. And so it's like supposed to be like super deep cover, so deep that like no one even like he doesn't have a lot of contract with Hydra, so which is why you haven't seen it in any comics before. And so I think that what they could do with the storyline, which I think could work, is just kind of have him struggle with the whole thing and just be like, maybe I really do like these people, maybe this country is, maybe I can go with S.H.I.E.L.D. and actually finally switch sides. So yeah, I wonder how they're going to tell that story, but I think that's how it's going to end up. I imagine that they're going to end it up with him making the decision to, turn into the kind of the guy that we all know anyway.
So he'll turn back into who we already thought he was.
Yeah, exactly.
Hopefully, we'll see.
Which is what I'm thinking. That's what they're going to do.
I feel like if they do that, the comic book fans will be like, okay, so nothing's really different. You just sprung this on.
Well, I know, like what they did with Peter when Doc Ock took his body. Peter's back now. Doc Ock is gone. But it did kind of change things to an extent. The things Doc Ock did while in Peter's body have an effect on what Peter was now doing moving forward. And things. And Doc Ock actually did some things that actually, that's actually a good idea. Why didn't I think of that? Like Peter's kind of taking that on himself. And maybe some of the things, how this plays out, Steve learns along the way will kind of play out. And the fallout from this will...
I think you'll have to have some major game changer like Winter Soldier did in the movies.
I think so.
That changes the
I think they might.
landscape of the comics.
I think that what they could do even is somewhere near the end of this run, have it somehow be... I mean, obviously, like, they're bringing it up now because it's going to be important. So I think that's what it is finally he's going to be kind of called out of cover. And they're going to say, okay, now you've been infiltrated deep enough, take down the country or whatever they want him to do. And then he's going to have to make that decision. And maybe for people will find out. Nick Fury or whoever else will discover that he's been undercover, and then maybe America will not trust him anymore, and he might even have to go, on the lam, something like that. So it could lead to a whole set of Captain America
kind of like how they
different.
ended Civil War.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You can kind of feel maybe that influence it a little bit, where it's like, okay, maybe the world wouldn't trust Captain America anymore because they have a reason not to, obviously, and so maybe he works now as a vigilante, and he kind of has. When he finally decides to turn back, turn away from Hydra, maybe it's already too late, and he needs to.
I like to see this could have some sort of say. If you guys don't know this, you might not know this. Comics right now are also they're moving into their. They started it. I think they're 2 issues into it. Civil War 2.
With Miss Marvel against Iron Man.
Yeah, the two of them are each other. Captain America. Well, Steve Rogers, Captain America, is on one side, and Falcon's Captain America is on the other side of this fight.
So what are they fighting about this time?
This time around, it's a. I will argue. I kind of feel like the sides are kind of out of character to an extent. We'll get to that in a second, though. Pretty much, there's a new Inhuman who's showing up who has the ability, kind of like the Minority Report things. They can precog in a future crime going on.
Mm-hmm.
So Captain Marvel thinks they should utilize this Inhuman and stop things before they happen. Well, Iron Man, which again I think is very out of character for him, is very much absolutely not. You don't do that. We need to fight like you normally would, and things, and that kind of causes this break between the characters. Thanos also factors into it somehow because he was just in the. I didn't really know the story, but I know he factors into it somehow. But like to me, it's kind of odd that I think it's a little out because even like Steve Rogers too just get the Marvel side, but like Falcon, it's a little out of character. But I'm just seeing if this story at all factors into this new Civil War.
The new Civil War is really interesting. The way that I could explain it to you in a way that I think you understand is the thing that Captain Marvel is proposing is basically a world that's very similar to Psycho-Pass.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you've ever seen that's what it is. It's that this mutant can see into the future. So Captain Marvel's like, hey, this guy is about to do something terrible. Let's stop him before he does. And then Tony is like, no, he's a person. He can still decide to change if he wants to. We don't want to convict people before they do things. We can't do that.
Is this going to evolve in some sort of time travel thing where like them trying to stop it has the effect that actually causes it, or?
It could. We'll see.
The main thing that kind of starts this whole thing is that this new Inhuman comes out and basically warns everyone that Thanos is coming and we need to get ready for it. And because they had that warning, they're able to just barely fight Thanos off. And so at that point, Ms. Marvel says, "Okay, what if something like this happens again? We need him around."
Yeah. And I really kind of think it's kind of out for Tony, who's the futurist, to kind of sit there and think. I think I would think it'd be opposite, but
yeah, it's interesting.
It is interesting to see how they take that side, see how it plays out. Yeah. I know they just spoiler alert. They killed off Rhodey's dead. He's gone. Yep. She-Hulk is critically injured and could also very well die. They said, and they said there'll be more deaths as they go on. Yeah. So.
But yeah, it's really interesting to see that whole thing, and that's kind of. And again, like I said, maybe the new Captain America will tie into that somehow. It'll be interesting to see if Hydra can get involved in this somehow. If maybe that's why Cap is on that side, is that Hydra can be like, hey, we can have
Hydra
this guy too.
Control of it, yeah.
Because that would be a really good power for Hydra to have.
Yeah.
So
it'd be interesting if this new Inhuman sees Captain America somehow on Hydra, and that's what turns them against.
It could be.
I would like to see some crossover like that, because obviously it's interesting when all the comics are going and then you have this big crossover event. Kind of going at the same time like this one is. So it's like you have a lot of individual comics going on, but then this is the major Marvel thing right now. So it's going to be interesting to see how they tie in things, because it's always difficult. They have to do it in a way that people who aren't reading Captain America could still understand what's going on right now.
Could be one day see in the movies like Civil War 2. This time get the Marvel versus Iron Man.
Yeah. I wouldn't be that surprised if they eventually did that.
Down the line, 10 years from now.
Yeah, exactly. Marvel's gonna keep making movies, and they're gonna have to.
This time it'll be called Captain Marvel Civil War.
Yeah, they probably will. It'll be Captain Marvel 4, maybe.
I think this will have, and it'll have the Inhumans in too by this point.
Yeah, so
if they end up making that
eventually.
Movie.
I
think they pushed it out of Phase 3, but I think
keep postponing it. But I think eventually they're going to. I think I've heard the rumor, and I still think that's an interesting idea. They might still be waiting for some more rights. They think that they can get Fantastic Four. They think that they can get. Did they get Ghost Rider already back?
Yeah, he's back. And they just got Submariner back.
Yeah, exactly. It's like they're getting it slowly. They're gonna. I think Fox is gonna hold out for a while doing X-Men, but everything else I think is coming right back.
I think they're waiting for all this until they can get more on the same page between Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and the movies.
Television side versus
because
the
Inhumans are a large part of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. already.
Yeah.
That's interesting too. Yeah, they might try to cross over.
Actually, they had the Inhuman that could see into the future.
They did have one, yeah.
It's interesting.
Yeah, you touched them and it's all your part in the future.
It's interesting.
So we'll see how it plays out.
I think that Marvel is just getting very slowly. I would not be surprised if I think it might be. I don't know if you guys are with me, but I think 10 years Marvel can just finally just do whatever they want, and they will be like, finally, all of our rights are back here. They'll make some sort of. I think they're gonna save up and just go to Fox and say, hey, we'll give you this money, and you can give us at least rights, or at least make the movies with us, so that we can. It'll be good for everyone. Once X-Men starts making less money, which it eventually will, then Fox will say okay, and then everything will be.
Here's my theory: what's going to happen? Fox isn't going to want to give up X-Men.
No,
not right.
What they're going to do is they're going to make a deal like they made with Sony for Spider-Man,
and make it similar in partnership.
Because Fox may not want to reboot it, but they'll be like, okay, what if we have some massive event in our movies that causes that universe to collide with this one?
They could,
and then somehow. The music have just appeared.
Well, when you get people like Fantastic Four travel dimensions in the first place, it would be very easy.
The first thing that might happen, which would be really interesting, is just some little crossover testing things where they can be like, "Hey, we'll let you do an X-Men movie with one of our guys, Captain America, come into X-Men for a second. If you give us, Wolverine or whoever, just for a minute, and then see how it goes." It'll go really well, and they'll keep. I know moving
forward, there's some rumors about some going to Phase 4 and beyond. Some ideas they have, some storylines they might pick up, and so some of those included Secret Invasion, which include there was a Skrull invasion who came into Earth, and they're actually they're all here. They're shapeshifters. Those who's the alien, who's not.
Oh, that would be a great story.
One was the Siege storyline, which was Norman Osborn took control of the Avengers and things.
And now they have Spider-Man. They can do all this.
Yeah, and one was I think they were talking about doing Secret War, which is when some heroes from Earth were taking some of the villains from Earth and pretty much just putting this galactic fight against each other.
War is one of my favorite
I thought something also. Since Rhodey's partially out of the picture now in the movies, how hard would it be for them to bring Norman Osborn and get the War Machine armor and make Iron Patriot again?
It would be very doable.
Because he originally had the Iron Patriot.
I'd rather see Norman Osborn as the Green Goblin first, though.
I don't think they're going to do Iron Patriot again, because they just did it You know,
I mean, I'm not
in
talking about right now. I'm
second
talking about maybe like
Down the
5
line.
years from now.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
See that.
But again, how likely is it going to be that these same people will be involved? Marvel has to keep evolving, and pretty soon I think some of their heavy hitters are going to leave, and so they just have to do it slowly, and that's what I think they're working on.
Until
right
they're
now.
smart.
It's just they're like, okay, if Robert Downey Jr. leaves now, we still have the rest of these guys, and then Captain America will leave,
Yeah.
and then Hulk, and it's like if it happens slowly,
And
people
they're
won't even
introducing
notice.
new characters over, with new stories like Black Panther, Doctor Strange, Spider-Man.
Spider-Man's going to be around for a long time, I'm sure. They've already signed, I'm sure, a
Yeah,
big deal with him.
Captain Marvel, and you have a lot of new characters coming in and kind of help refresh the Marvel movies
And then
over and over
people-
again.
Yeah, like I said, I think that they seem to have enough people that now when these main Avengers that they have in the first
Yeah.
movie leave, people will probably just be like, oh yeah, I forgot they already had their. It's not going to be like
Yeah.
a big deal
No.
because I don't think they're all going to go at once. It'll be slow.
Yeah, well, even Chris Evans has said, he's willing to stay now as long as Marvel wants him. And Chris Evans pretty much the same thing. If you want us, we got
Robert
us.
Downey Jr. He wants to stay, but he's getting older.
Yeah, he keeps
Yeah.
saying, like, he said it a couple times. He's like, Iron Man 3 is going to be my last movie. And then he's like, well, I'll do Avengers, Infinity.
I'll do Spider-Man. I'll
And
do
he's
that.
like, and then Spider-Man, he's like, oh, I really like Spider-Man. I like this kid. He, like, met this Spider-Man. He was like, yeah, I'll do this movie.
I do think he'll probably will do Iron Man 4.
I don't know that it will. I think that I don't know.
But see, it said he liked to do like a fought and fall thing with Tony Stark and things, and he isn't thinking Infinity War could be it. He wants to do
Because I think
a
if
swan song
Infinity
for
War is
himself.
so big that it
yeah,
could be.
Like he'll have to pass on the armor to someone
yeah.
else. Or something.
So
Yeah, because there
We'll
just
see.
have to be a good goodbye to. It'll be
Yeah.
interesting to see how they have none of the major superhero franchises really had
Yeah.
to do that.
To
To
Wolverine
say goodbye
next year.
to one of their big. Yeah, Wolverine will do it.
I
That'll
mean,
be the first one.
If
Yeah.
you think about it, CGI is getting so good, they could just Robert Downey Jr. could play forever and pull a Kevin Flynn on it.
Oh my
they
goodness.
could.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Just make him like age 45 forever or something.
Yeah, that's what they want, I'm sure.
In the future, if anything, I'd say maybe not him not be Iron Man. He might show up as Tony Stark.
No, yeah, no, I don't think I would honestly not be that surprised if in like
Spider-Man, I think
Like-
that's gonna happen.
like 6 or 7 years from now, he hasn't played in a while, and then he's like, "Hey, you want to come be Tony Stark as like a mentor again to the Spider-Man in the
Yeah.
like Spider-Man 4? Just come back and be like,
Just
with great power comes great
10-minute
responsibility, and then
scene.
leave."
Yeah, that's for a 10-minute scene here and there.
Do you want to be
show up.
Uncle Ben in this movie, basically?
Yeah, we'll see.
Alright, I think that might wrap us up for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got some exciting things coming their way in terms of all the comics and everything and movies, and can't wait to see what comes out. We're living in a good time.
Indeed,
We are.
it's all doing really well.
It's a good time to be a nerd.
Maybe not DC. DC is not my
No.
favorite, but I mean, but it's
The
so
movie-
sad
the
because
TV
I love,
side's doing
yeah,
well.
because
TV
I
side's
love
doing good.
I love
We
DC.
will talk about that in another podcast.
Yes.
Again, the DC comics are some of my favorite ones, but it just movies aren't working for me.
No.
I love the animated stuff they've done. I like the ones they're doing now are pretty good
Killing
too.
Joke.
Oh,
Yes.
oh man,
Can't
that'll
wait for
probably
that.
be better than everything.
We're gonna have a separate podcast just
Oh
for
yeah,
that,
no,
I think.
for sure.
I am looking forward to Suicide Squad. So.
Suicide Squad will be good.
Yeah, I think it's just gonna be so different than everything else
Yes.
that it'll be fine.
Alright, thanks for listening. We'll figure it out.